Right, let's go live and let's talk about some of the Ligue and transfer that nobody talks about. I mean, everybody knows where Mbappé is staying, where Corentin Tolisso decided to sign. Everyone is sort of aware that Bouba Kamara has joined Aston Villa, that, what was his name? Aguerd went to West Ham. But what about the transfers that no one really talked about and no one really, saw coming in Ligue 1 early for this window? So I have I think it's almost a dozen players that have been transferred that have cards on Sorare. So obviously the idea is to show those players on Sorare and what they could bring. Let's just jump in it. Let's not waste too much time. Let me not waste your precious time, guys that are following. We're going to start with Zakaria Abouhlal, who was playing for AZ. He's a Moroccan international and he's signed for Toulouse. Toulouse, who just was promoted in Ligue 1. And I mean, kind of like double utility, right? Because he's playing for Toulouse and they have some people up front already, but I think he's bringing some experience that Toulouse doesn't have, and he is definitely playing for Morocco as well. And so Morocco is qualified for the World Cup, granted in one of the hardest group of that World Cup, but potentially you would have him for at least the first three group matches, and who knows if Morocco can be one of those surprise teams. Although, they definitely are not in an easy group this season, unfortunately. This year, sorry, unfortunately, the Moroccan. But that's one that could be interesting. Zakaria Abouhlal, who just signed for Toulouse. Let's go to Pepite and Nugget, as we call them. Habib Keita, who is a young midfielder from Lyon. We saw him a little bit playing with Lyon, but very, very rarely. You got to be honest. I think even in the past year, as you can see on his S25 scores, in the past year, he's only played 6 games with the Ligue 1 team, but he's signed in Jupiler Pro League for Kortrijk. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bit more game time. I mean, you can see the price of his rare right now jump up to 0.9. People are getting excited. But as far as the limited go, it's still affordable, and the price doesn't jump much from what it is. Only 20-year-old, good utility for the under 23 until 2026. So might be worth giving a shot. I was surprised to see him on loan, but also I guess kind of happy because it's probably what he needs, a loan and getting a little bit of game time. Mike, I'll answer to you. I think, you know what, it's going to be a tough year, Mike, for the simple reason, I don't know if you're aware, that this year in Ligue 1, 4 teams are getting relegated at the end of the year because Ligue 1 is going from 20 teams to 18 teams. The year after, I can realize that my little flag behind me fell. Anyway, so 4 teams are going to get relegated. And so if 4 teams gets relegated, of course, it's going to be hard for any team to stay up, including Toulouse. But if there's any team, any of the promoted team that I give a chance to stay up, it's Toulouse because they are doing some really good work. They had a very good, strong Ligue 2 team, and they're going to keep most of their players. Maybe Branko van der Bomen might leave, but everybody else is staying, and they're getting the good players. I mean, adding Abouhlal is actually a good get, and they're probably going to add a couple of more players. They have a very good recruiting system. They have a great academy, and with Bordeaux not there anymore, they are the only team in the Southwest. So there's a bit of that burden to carry. So tough one with 4 teams being relegated, but Toulouse might still stay up. Anyway, back to Habib Keita. So Habib Keita, like I said, just going to Kortrijk, and he's probably going to get a bit of game time because that's why he's been loaned out by Lyon. Next up, Moussa Niakate. Those players that maybe we didn't hear much about and were then loaned out or loaned in. So Moussa Niakate, who is going to I'm having a mind blank about Moussa Niakate. I'm so sorry. Let me get back to Moussa Niakate. Let's make sure I'm getting this right. Sorry, he's going to Nottingham Forest, of course. Moussa Niakate from Mainz going to Nottingham Forest. His price not crazy. Nottingham Forest, of course, who just got promoted. His team, his card Niakate is going to get some good utility, and he's a player who's been playing with Mainz, and Mainz was known for their defensive ability, and Niakate is going to I guess help Nottingham getting some strong defensive ability. And as you can see, that it doesn't look too shabby. It'll be interesting to see him going to Nottingham Forest. I think the other player that they got is Biancone from Troyes. They're definitely working on that defensive effort. Like I said, the price is actually pretty all right for somebody who's going to play for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest is just promoted, but that means they're going to have quite a bit of work to do defensively. So it's probably a good shout to try and get him. If you look at his all around, it was 10 for a defender. While at Mainz, it's not too bad. So it could be worth getting. Next up, Noah Fadiga. I like, again, those players that maybe we didn't see coming and then end up having a nice little transfer. Noah Fadiga was playing at Heracles up in Eredivisie, and he got transferred to Brest. So a right back, a right wing back. Brest, they always try this thing, trying to get one or two defenders that no one knows and see how they can work in Brittany. This year it's Noah Fadiga. He's only 22 years old, so his utility under 23 is going until 2024. And when he was at Heracles, it was a team that was struggling. You can see the scores; it's not great. Look at the all around; it's only 1.9, so maybe more a bet than anything. But obviously, nobody talks about him being transferred. I reckon his rare is definitely a bit too expensive, but he's limited. He's pretty affordable. So if he goes one or two good games, his rare is going to explode. So it depends if you want to take that risk or not. Next up, Jonas Martin. Jonas Martin, he's a bit of a legend. He's only 32 years old, and he was definitely important at Rennes this season. He played maybe 10, 15 games in a row at one point halfway through the season, and then played a bit less. But he's been important. Let's look actually at his SO5 scores. He's just a strong midfielder. Look, if you want to get somebody for your to work on your scores without going too crazy, your underdogs, etc. He's the guy that can jump in. But solid, and he's going to Lille, and Lille it was in desperate need of that kind of midfielder. So he's going to bring a bit more, a bit more experience in that side. They lost Cheka. They probably are losing Renato Sanchez soon as well. So Jonas Martin next to Benjamin André could be actually a pretty solid midfield for Lille this season. Let's keep going. Adrien Hunou. He was in France, then he went to the MLS to play with, I think he was in Minnesota for a while. Yeah, of course, the jersey tells me that. Look at the price, though. As soon as he's announced going to Angers, he's in Angers now. Look at that. Rare, it's stupid. But the price in limited, again, is all right. The price is in rare. As soon as you have a transfer, it's really dumb. Anyway, with Minnesota, like you can see, a bit struggling there. But before that, I think it was Lorient that he was at. He's going to tell us right now. Actually, in MLS, he had a couple of good scores. Not the great back start of season with the MLS, but he's back in France now. It's his country as well. So hopefully he'll do something. Proper striker, and Angers definitely need a striker. So hopefully he finds a way to get a spot to start with. Next one, I think it's one that everybody saw coming. It's it kind of flew under the radar, but also anybody who read the news of this transfer jumped on it. Strahinja Pavlovic, the former Monaco, former Cercle Bruges, and now just get transferred to Red Bull Salzburg. And of course, we know that Red Bull Salzburg are the team who are going to dominate in Austria. He's actually a good defender before he joined Salzburg. We can see his SO5 scores. He had a strong little last five there. Look at this. At Monaco, he impressed when he started at the beginning of the season in Ligue, and then maybe a little bit more so. And then at Cercle Bruges, at first he didn't play, and then he got a little bit of game time. Of course, the good results also come from international football. He plays with Serbia. But look at this all around, 17.2. It's not too bad. Of course, the price 0.6 and 0.1 in limited. He plays for Salzburg, so the price is always going to go up. Next one, Burak Yilmaz. Burak Yilmaz, of course, the former Lille striker. He's not too young, 36 years old now, Burak Yilmaz, and he signed with the Fortuna Sittard in Eredivisie. Yilmaz, the first year in every club is great. So the first year in Lille was awesome. Of course, he got them the title. The second year in Lille was a little bit less good, but there's still this decisive score of 39.8. I mean, the guy every 5 game or so will be decisive, and as you can see on his scores, it says it. He goes to Fortuna Sittard to bring that experience and also to become a coach later on. So hopefully he doesn't become a coach too quickly, but I think it's pretty affordable. Again, he's old, so maybe as soon as he plays 1 or 2 games, his price is going to go crazy. But I think 0.16 and 0.018 in limited is probably all right. Romain Amouma, there's going to be a bunch of Saint-Etienne players that, of course, have left Saint-Etienne. Romain Amouma has left Saint-Etienne and is signed for Ajaccio. Okay, now Ajaccio is one team that I don't know. I think it's going to be really hard for them to stay in Ligue 1. But Romain Amouma will probably play a very crucial role for them, bringing in this experience and his technical ability. And Ajaccio, is probably a bit less pressure than Saint-Etienne, so he might see a bit more of the ball. Of course, if we look at his scores, it's not great. There's been a lot of time where he didn't play for Saint-Etienne. And then when he came in, he was okay, but he definitely just played some minutes in the end, not much more. So we'll see what he does when he's in Ajaccio. Definitely affordable, and that's because he's already 35 years old. But I think it's definitely another risky bet, but something that I think we need to keep in mind this year in Ligue 1 as well, any league really. The World Cup is in the middle, right? So players that are a bit older, they're going to have actually 2 preseason warm-ups. So they actually can be in okay shape for a bit longer than usual. They're not going to have a burnout halfway through January because they didn't get any rest. So it could be something for Amouma, and Ajaccio is definitely going to see some game time because Ajaccio is in dire need of that experience. Let's see where it brings him. I think the price is definitely not too bad for Romain Amouma. When he's good, he's awesome. It's about hopefully he's going to work hard enough for Ajaccio and to get his spot in the starting lineup. Emmanuel Agbadou, I was afraid to massacre his name. Defender who used to be at Cas Eupen, and a defender that some didn't do too bad. As you can see, the scores. Look at this all around of 17.5. I mean, I've seen worse, right, for a defender. And he's going to sign for Stade de Reims. So Stade de Reims, who had Woodfess and had Abdelhamid. Abdelhamid is staying, the main captain, but Woodfess is most likely going. So now he's joining a team that is very strong defensively, Agbadou, and he's only 25. He's going to be next to Abdelhamid, who's 34 years old. So he's going to have the experience right next to him to try and make him better. I think it's probably one of, in that whole name that I have, one of the one that we probably don't see coming, but could actually have a pretty solid season. Again, de Rere is a bit expensive, I think, for a defender in Reims, but Reims is known for their defensive ability and the all-around score. I think maybe makes it okay. But interesting that he went to Reims, and for sure, if he plays, he's going to have some good score because Reims defensively has been good every season. Next up, Maxime Gonalons, the experienced midfielder who used to be one of the best midfielder in Ligue 1 and in Lyon, most importantly, went to Spain for a while, ended up in Granada for a bit, and now he's back in Ligue 1 with Clermont again. This experience brought back into a team that is going to fight for survival in Ligue 1. He has a bit of competition in the midfield in Clermont. There are some players that have not gone anywhere, so he's going to add that experience and probably get definitely a bit of game time. If we look at his scores, it wasn't amazing with Granada, but there is ability to get some points there. He's a set piece taker as well, so hopefully he'll take them with Clermont, but they do have some talent in the middle, so it depends. It depends what the preparation is going to go to him. The first game, as you can see, is against Paris Saint-Germain, so maybe no need to rush on this player. But Clermont started the season in 2021-2022 by 4 wins or 3 wins out of 4. So they are very strong when they start. So maybe he's a guy to get to start the season, and then you can see where it goes from there. Who knows? Next up, Mehdi Zefan, another one who just signed to Clermont, and he used to play. I don't want to ruin the name of the club he used to play, but I wrote it down. He used to play at Malatyaspor in Turkey, and he just joined Clermont. 30 years old, right back. They needed a new right back. It's a bit of a risky bet that they did finding Zefan. But look, the scores aren't too bad in Turkey. Big question mark, obviously. I don't know how he plays. I've never seen him play. See if he plays in Clermont. Like I said, they need somebody in the right back, so it could be a good one for Clermont. Anthony Cassi, one of the very first transfers out of Ligue 1 this season. As you can see, I jumped on it pretty early. I got 2 limited cards for Anthony Cassi, former Strasbourg player. good when he was coming in and who signed with Mainz. We just talked about Mainz before with Nyakite. Mainz is a very strong defensive outfit, and Anthony Cassi can play center back, can play left back. And I fancy him getting a few good scores in Mainz because defensively they're pretty strong. So yeah, just sign in Mainz, and the rare card, the rare score again is pretty high, and the limited is going up. I think when I bought mine, I bought them at like 0.008 or 0.009. So I didn't do a massive coup either, but I'll be curious to see how it goes, because I can expect a few good scores for Anthony Cassi all the way in Germany. Now we're going to finish the last four with the new look of Montpellier. Montpellier went shopping around France and actually specifically at Saint-Etienne, and got a few players. And the reason why I'm finishing with Montpellier is because Montpellier's coach, Olivier Dall'Olio, loves playing football, and anybody who comes to Montpellier will play proper football, will play fast football, possessive football. When they play defensively, they love to explode in counter-attack. This season, they had a so-so season, but at some point, they were really in the mix to try and finish into the European spot, and then they finished mid-table, but they have a lot of talents. They have Teji Savanier, that a lot of people have heard about in the midfield, which is a bit of a magician as a number 10. And so now they've added some strength a little bit everywhere on the park. So let's start with the striker, Wabi Kazri. The rare at 0.2, I think at one point this season his rare went to like 0.3 or something when he was getting crazy. Let's see where we can find the rolling average history. Sorry, the price graph is what I was looking for. So yeah, if we look at his price graph for the past year, no, it says at 0.2, sorry. Anyway, 0.2 is the highest he went. He scored that crazy goal, of course, for Saint-Etienne. He's a bit, he's not young. He's 31 years old. Again, Tunisia, who says Tunisia, says World Cup, exactly, World Cup utility. And the group for Wabi Kazri in the World Cup, there's France, it's going to be complicated. There's Denmark, it's going to be complicated. And there's Australia, where there's something that they can do potentially. So double utility, Ligue 1 with Montpellier and the World Cup with Tunisia. Keep an eye on Wabi Kazri. I think it's not a bad idea. Next one, all still in Montpellier, Fetou Mawassa. Look, if he goes back to his level that he had when he was in Rennes, you got to jump on this guy. Of course, he's not cheap right now, but at Rennes, he was just fantastic. And then he moved, and then he just burned himself a little bit. I think he signed in Bruges, if I'm not mistaken. He just didn't do as well as he should have, unfortunately. But at Rennes, it was fantastic. So he was one of my favorite left back at the time. He's fast. He can cross. He can take set pieces. He racked up a good amount of assists when he was playing for Rennes. So seeing him going to Montpellier, I was going to say he's under 23, but oh yeah, he is under 23 for another year. Wow. Okay, I have to have a look at that. Yeah, to me, he's one of those guys that is worth betting on, because he's probably one of my favorite left back when he was at Rennes. Let's see if he lost any of his ability, but good get for Montpellier. Fetou Mawassa at left back. And at right back, they got Falai Sako, another one that I think is very strong. Look at that face on the picture. Look, he's center back, right back, can play both. International with Mali, which I think is no World Cup this year for Mali. I need to make sure always. Let's make sure live, shall we? Did Mali qualify for the World Cup? Let's ask Google. Mali did not qualify for the World Cup, unfortunately. Otherwise, you would have all the game straight away coming up. So Falai Sako, he is a right back. When he played with Saint-Etienne, he signed with Saint-Etienne halfway through the season. He brought that intensity. He brought the technique. He really changed a little bit what Saint-Etienne is. He was definitely one of the ones that was there when Saint-Etienne had a spike of playing better games. And then unfortunately wasn't here. Look at the scores, an all around of 10, and not too shabby. He scores. Again, Montpellier doing some very good work, getting him on the right, Mawassa on the left. It's what they were missing this season, Montpellier. So they are doing some good recruitment. And the last one for this video, and the last one for Montpellier, again, is Arnaud Nordin. Not anymore on under 23. He was under 23 until 6 days ago. And as you can see, I did go and buy a rare card of him as soon as I realized that he was going to get transferred. Arnaud Nordin, striker, right winger, can actually play a little bit lower on the pitch as well, but mostly between the striker and the right winger position. Look, I like Arnaud Nordin. He's powerful. He's fast. He's got the ability to score some good goals. If you look at the last year of results, 4 assists, 4 goals. Not the best player you've ever seen, but somebody who fights a lot and fights well. Like I said, Montpellier is a team that's going to play pretty well offensively, and he's going to get a lot of great passes coming his way by TJ Savanier. So a lot of work for him in front of goal. It's going to be a matter of scoring. It's a bit of a like an important year for Arnaud Nordin, because he's expected to be that good in Saint-Etienne, and then he didn't really live up to the expectations. So now it's another chance for him in a new club to show all his strength. I'm curious about Arnaud Nordin, about what he did. As you can see, I already bought a rare card, so I'm pretty ready for him to show us what he can do. Anyway, that's probably about it. There was a quick round of the transfers in Ligue 1 so far, the one that no one has talked about. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment. Don't hesitate. Thank you, Mike Baston, for that little comment about Toulouse. As I said, it's going to be a tough one for Toulouse to stay up in Ligue 1, but it's possible. Thanks again for following. It's the Jérémy Magan podcast, Sorare, Ultimate Champions Club, and of course a lot of Ligue 1. I try and cover a lot of subjects on my podcast. Don't hesitate to subscribe and ask questions. Thank you very much. Ciao, people.